Welcome back to BNG Hockey, where it's always black and gold. If you had Zdeno Chara signing with another team on your crazy things that could happen in 2020 bingo card, you can go ahead and fill that space in. Zdeno Chara just signed a one-year deal with the Washington Capitals with a $795,000 cap hit. I really didn't see this one coming, but let's go ahead and talk about it. We're going to get into the positives and the negatives of this move, but I wanted to start out with the most interesting part of this story, the fact that the Bruins chose to move on from Chara, and Chara didn't want to move on from them. It does seem like Chara genuinely wanted to be a Bruin, and he later confirmed in his statement that the Bruins told him they were going with a youth movement and they thought it was time for them to be done. I'm not mad at Chara for signing with another team, because it really does seem like he wanted to come back and management just told him it wasn't going to happen. And the cap hit is kind of proof of that. It's not like he went somewhere and got $3 million and the Bruins were offering him $1 million. He got a really low cap hit. So that just confirms the fact that the Bruins were done with Chara no matter what the cost was, and that it was just time to move on from their longtime captain. Now, I give Bruins management some big props on that move. That's not an easy thing to do. Moving on from a guy who brought you a Stanley Cup in 2011, a future Hall of Famer, a Norris-caliber defenseman, not anymore, but once was, and a Bruins legend, and their captain. That's not easy to just cut ties with him and say, we're done with you, good luck somewhere else. I do feel like it's getting around the point that Chara might be dragging out his career just a little bit. I'm not saying that he can't play anymore, but it's starting to get to the point where he seems to drop off each year and get a little bit worse. And props to the Bruins for saying, you know what, we just don't think you're a good fit for us, and it doesn't matter how great you've been for our franchise, it doesn't matter that you're our captain, and it doesn't matter that we can get you at a cheap cap hit. We just feel like for the team, it's time to move on. So I give huge props to Bruins management. Whether or not it was the right move, we'll see. And now we're going to get into the positives and negatives. Let's start with the negatives to get that out of the way. I was genuinely surprised to not see the Bruins make a statement before this happened. It would have been really nice to get a heads up, hey, we're not bringing back the captain, so don't be surprised if you see a signing announced. We really found out when the Washington Capitals posted this that he signed with them, which means he's not going to sign with us, which means he's not a Bruin anymore. And that really stung, and that was really shocking. And it's not so much that I don't want him to be a Capital, and we'll get to that shortly, but I was surprised that he's not a Bruin anymore, and that's how I found out. That did genuinely hurt, so that's probably the biggest negative out of this. Now, on the ice, I don't think it's really going to affect the Bruins that much, and this is a negative or a positive depending on how you look at Chara. The Bruins get to play him 8 times this year because of the schedule within the division, so that's going to be really interesting to see. Unfortunately, he does know everything about the Bruins, so he can definitely help the Capitals, who are a difficult team for the Bruins already, to learn how to shut down the Bruins in certain aspects, but it's going to be really good for the Bruins' young players and guys with speed because they will blow around Zdeno Chara like a traffic cone like most of the NHL has for the past few years. It's sad, Bruins fans, but true. Chara has definitely lost a step, so it'll be nice to take advantage of that when we're playing the Capitals. It is very sad that we don't have Chara on our team for the physical presence. He doesn't get in as many fights as he used to, and he doesn't even hit people as much as he used to, but he does get that respect. When Chara is out there on the ice, guys know it, and he does help with that leadership ability. He's a great guy for the room. He's been huge for McAvoy and Carlo and countless numbers of Bruins. That is going to be missed. We're going to get to the positives, but first I want to talk about a comparison that's been confusing to me, and that's Tom Brady leaving the Patriots to Chara leaving the Bruins. This is not the same thing. I know this has been a tough year for Boston sports fans, but Brady is still playing at an elite level, and Zdeno Chara is not. Brady has been a factor in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning games, and Chara will not be a factor in the Washington Capitals winning games. The Capitals are a good team, and they won a Stanley Cup recently without Chara. And you're not adding #1 defenseman Norris winning Zdeno Chara. You're getting third pair old Chara, and that's just a fact, and I want to let Bruins fans know, Capitals fans know, and any other NHL fan who was hoping to bring Chara in, yes, it's great to get him at that cheap of a cap hit, but he's not the player he once was. He's a liability in the offensive end because he doesn't take slap shots like he used to, and he can't get back if he pinches too much. He trips people because he's slow. He holds people on the glass because he tries to be physical, and then he doesn't get off of them. So we don't have to worry about that as Bruins fans, so that's a positive. But I just wanted to get that off my chest. I do find it really confusing. I know they're both icons for their teams, but you just can't compare the two because Brady is still Brady and Chara is not still Chara. Let's talk about the positives, and believe me, there are plenty of them. We're going to be able to do things that we otherwise wouldn't have if Chara was still on the roster. And the very first thing on our agenda is putting a big fat C on Patrice Bergeron's sweater because he deserves it. And there are plenty of us, myself included, who will be really happy to see Bergie get the captaincy. He's an all-time Bruin, drafted by the Bruins, future Hall of Famer, an incredible leader, and just a great guy who deserves to be captain and has for a long time. It'll be really nice to see Bergie be captain for the years he has until he retires. So right off the bat, that's something that you get that you otherwise wouldn't have if Chara was still here. You get the youth movement, the sole reason the Bruins moved on from him to begin with. We lost Krug and Chara on the left side, and that can be a bad thing, but also a good thing, because now you have two spots that young kids can fill. We get to get a solid look at guys like Vaakanainen, Zboril, Lozon, even Grzelcyk will all get a bigger role. And you never really know. You might find a gem. Maybe Zboril becomes that kid we all thought he would be when he was selected in the first round. Maybe Grzelcyk becomes the next Krug. You never really know, but if Chara's on that team filling that hole, you never get to see these players. I even think a guy like John Moore could benefit from playing more on that third D pair. He's always getting scratched, and then we make fun of him because he comes in one game after being scratched for 20, and he's not great. So for everybody, it's just more playing time, and it's more of a chance for the Bruins to see what they have, and maybe they find a gem, or maybe they're all terrible, but at least the Bruins know that. And if there's a year that we're going to take a step back, I want it to be this year, the shortened season, so that we can come back with a better roster for the full season that's coming up faster than we all think it is. And the final positive is the cap space. The Bruins still have a little less than $3 million to play with, and I know I was a little bit worried that they were just going to sign Chara and kind of be done and just save $1 million in cap space at the end of the day. Now they have this cap space to use, and they don't have anybody else from their team to sign. We're all kind of disappointed that they didn't add more, and now they can. It's not going to be anything too flashy. Maybe they make a trade, and then you have that cap space and you move money out and you can bring in something better. But it's exciting to know that the Bruins have this space, and it's not just going to be the same guys being brought back. For a long time, the Bruins have brought back their same core again and again and again, and let's be honest, even though they won a cup in 2011, they probably should have won at least one, maybe even two more, and they just didn't. So it's going to be nice to start changing that over, bringing in some new faces, and spending that cap space on something else other than what we already have. I know I spent a majority of this video kind of bashing on Chara, but that does not change the fact that I love this man and appreciate everything he did for my Boston Bruins. Watching him win that Norris, watching him get the hardest shot, watching him blow people up and score goals and stand in front of the net on the power play being the big screen, so many great memories with Chara. That 2011 Cup team is everything to me, and it doesn't happen without Big Z. Him on a D pair with Seidenberg was just incredible to watch, the way they shut people down. I am really going to miss Chara, and I really do appreciate everything he did for the Bees, even up to right now. Watching him come out with half a jaw against the St. Louis Blues, I really wish we finished the job. I know Chara wishes he had a couple more cups with the Bruins, and I do too. I really think they were just that close so many times, and it would have been an even better story if they did win those cups. But it doesn't change the fact that they did bring at least one to the Bruins. He did so much for the community. I'll never forget meeting him. He was the nicest guy, and he does so much for the city of Boston and for so many people. So all in all, nothing but love for Zdeno Chara. Definitely going to miss him, and I wish him all the best with the Washington Capitals, and am very much looking forward to watching the Bruins play against Big Z so much this year. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. How do you feel about Zdeno Chara signing with the Capitals? How do you think he's going to do? Do you think the Bruins should have kept him? Are you sad that he's gone? Leave all that down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a big like, and if you haven't already, subscribe.